You need people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
Clarissa Shields. This is my only small gripe, Nikisa, about the event, is that you had all these incredible female fighters. Some of them will go down as all-time greats. And the one name missing was Clarissa. The relationship between you guys always seems a bit frosty, I have to admit. Shadaysha Green came through against Savannah Marshall. It seems to be, for me, a fight that makes sense, Shadaysha versus Clarissa. Is there a potential to be a working relationship between you and Clarissa?
100%. The fight with Clarissa and Shadaysha makes a lot of sense. 100%. Shadaysha versus Savannah, again, makes a lot of sense. And, we want to focus on those three athletes and creating, 2, 3, 4 amazing fights. I see no reason why we wouldn't do a deal with Clarissa Shields once she gets through July 26th to make her versus Shadaysha happen.
Nikisa has the right idea in the sense that at those weights, there's just not enough to go around to just move on to somebody else, because a lot of the time, there is nobody else. So you should do 1 or 2 fights between Shadaysha and Savannah, Shadaysha and Clarissa. But I didn't like the way that Ade Oladipo presented the question that Clarissa was missing from that show. That was a complete show, all without Clarissa Shields. And frankly, if she wasn't on it, it's because she didn't want to be. It's because she's more in the business of burning bridges and defending people than doing business. Nikisa Biderian, quite the savvy businessman, won't let harsh feelings get in the way of business, but Clarissa might. Nikisa is a true professional, a true businessman, because in Clarissa, you have a fighter who's not only disrespected your fighters, disrespected your brand, disrespected you, and the other co-founder of the company, and you're still willing to do business in the name of business. It is said that Clarissa's upcoming fight with Lonnie Daniels will be her final fight of her existing Salita Promotions deal. Dimitri Salita, who's been her career-long promoter since she went pro, all of that is set to come to an end after her next fight, but I'm not completely sure that guarantees that she would work with MVP, since she doesn't like MVP. She doesn't like Nikisa Biderian or Jake Paul. She's been taking shots at Jake Paul for about 5 going on 6 years now, unprovoked. That's what often gets lost in a conversation, that whatever rift there is between them, it's a rift that she started. She's always the one that starts it. She's the one that started with Keith Thurman. She's the one that started with Jake Paul. And she's the one that started with Layla Ali, who she is now pursuing via a giant-sized novelty check from Win Group, who mean to finance the fight between Clarissa and Layla. And we've yet to hear a response from Layla, but you figure that if they've got that kind of money and she's doing business with them, who's to say that she won't sign to them? Well, who are they? I'm not sure, to be honest with you. And the speed at which they supposedly got this money for a Layla Ali fight begs certain questions from me. What could MVP do for Clarissa Shields that Dimitri Salita did not? Well, they're in bed with DAZN, and they're in bed with Netflix. So for Clarissa Shields, that might be an opportunity to box on an even bigger, much bigger platform than she's ever been on in Netflix, like Katie and Amanda just did. The chance to be promoted to a completely different audience, not exclusive to the boxing audience within the boxing sphere, but an audience outside of that social media influencer audience. It's a younger crowd. It's not your conventional boxing fans. And I think this is how you know that Nikisa Biderian and Jake Paul and everybody at MVP wish to elevate the sport of women's boxing, that it's a genuine effort and it's coming from a good place because they're willing to work with someone that's done nothing but trash them from the very beginning. All unprovoked. But even with their well wishes and earnest efforts, they can't make Claressa Shields a likable person. You can promote her and you can put her on Netflix and you can do what you gotta do, and she's still gonna be a social pariah because she is her own worst enemy. You'd have to tape her mouth shut to be able to promote her. Is she finally ready to make real money and be promoted by a real promotional outfit? I'm not sure. Right now, she's focused on fighting an almost 50-year-old Layla Ali. I don't know why that would seem like a good idea. I don't know what's gonna happen, but if Shields versus Green doesn't happen, if Claressa stands on her square and she doesn't want to do any business with MVP, I suppose we could always go for Jadeja Green versus Savannah Marshall too. They could always run it back, do a rematch. We'll see what happens.
Hey, but it looks like you're willing to take all those fights. It doesn't really matter to you, right? Is it?
He's ready. Fuck him on. Fuck him on. Fuck him on. Honestly, fuck him on. We need to make the fights. We need to make good fights. Best fights. Best fight the best. You know what I'm saying? If y'all think that Matias is one that could do it, put him in there. Y'all think that Shakur could do it, put him in there.
It would seem that Shakur Stevenson has caught wind of Teofimo Lopez's sudden openness to a fight between them. Put him in there. Those were Teofimo's words. Shakur's were, how about you fight me next, Teo? Let's line it up. We both do business with the same people. I'll go to 140 for this. On God. The issue is that Teofimo Lopez might have burned one bridge too many with Turkey LL Sheik. Turkey wanted to put him in the ring with Devin Haney. One thing led to another, and now Turkey says that he will not do business with Teofimo because he disrespected both his country and his religion. We talked about it here on the channel not but 1 or 2 days ago, and I don't know that Teofimo and Turkey can make amends in a situation like that. It is a little bit different than what happened between Turkey and Canelo. Canelo never called Turkey any names, per se. I don't think he said anything about Saudi Arabia or Islam. And I don't know if Teofimo did either. I'm just making the inference that he did because according to Turkey, he disrespected both his country and his religion. Those were his words on The Boxing Voice last week.
Turkey, did Teofimo Lopez fumble the bag?
Oh, I don't understand.
Did he? Because he said he had some $11 million offer, that he was supposed to fight Devin, then it got lowered. Then he went on Twitter. He was immature. Like, what happened with the T.O. Devin Haney situation?
I want to tell you something.
Yes.
I don't go to the details with monies or something. You're saying numbers, but if you don't respect my country and my religion, you will not have any chance to do business with me.
Okay, so to follow up, does that mean that Keith Conley posted, Hitchins and Richardson Hitchins versus Teofimo? Is that a fight that you're not going to be involved in?
I will not be involved in this fight.
So you figure that if Turkey doesn't want to be involved with Teofimo in any capacity, a Hitchins fight, that must also apply to a Stevenson fight and a Matias fight, which Teofimo also mentioned. How's any of it supposed to happen? Who's supposed to pay for it? Shakur Stevenson is tied to Riyadh Season, to Turkey LL Sheik. In some ways, so is Subriel Matias. He just fought on one of Turkey's shows. Became a 2-time super lightweight champion. The biggest and best money in boxing right now leads to Turkey. All roads lead to Turkey when you're talking about the biggest bang for your buck. So how could Teofimo end up fighting any of these fighters when he burned that bridge? Teofimo Lopez, who was in attendance for the fights this weekend, and he managed to bump into his old buddy, Subriel Matias, who we just mentioned. Things got hot and heavy.
Gordo, este está gordo. Yo la semana pasada. Coño, man, tú no sabes. Se puede hacer, viejo. When you got a fight, para tú que you fight. Tú no puedes hacer ese peso, no voy a pasear. Tú hables, tú solo hables. Yo no tengo, mira. Viejo, la podemos hacer nosotros. No podemos hacer esa pelea. Tiene que todo Juan Orlando quiere hablar contigo. Se puede hablar contigo.
It would seem that Subriel Matias at the event put his hands on Teofimo Lopez, tried to slap him, but security got in the way. That's unfortunate. Even more unfortunate is that Teofimo Lopez tries his best, tries his darndest to appeal to those Spanish-speaking boxing fans, which we all know move the needle in this country, while at the same time struggling to pronounce words in Spanish, like he's not fluent in the language. I think that holds him back. Ese tipo no habla en español. What we see in Edgar Berlanga and what we saw with Danny Garcia, fighters of Puerto Rican descent that don't actually speak Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican? I felt like a Puerto Rican in this hair. I felt Puerto Rican.
But it really is hard to be in tune with the Puerto Rican fans like, say, Felix Trinidad was in his heyday when you don't actually speak the language.
Teofimo's not Puerto Rican.
You're right, that he isn't Puerto Rican. He's not Mexican either, which are the two dominant Spanish-speaking boxing fans in this country, the ones that move the needle. He's not Puerto Rican, he's not Mexican, he's Honduran. And there's not a large contingent of Honduran boxing fans that could carry him into the next stratosphere, which wouldn't even be the end of the world if he could actually speak the language. But when you hear him mumble and stumble and try to get a few words out in Espanol, it's like nails across a chalkboard. Ese tipo no habla en español. It matters more than people think, because he's not really in tune with those separate factions of fans, not really to where they're coming out in droves to support him. And in a very general sense, the boxing fans in general don't necessarily support him. That's why, in spite of one or two high-profile victories, he never really graduated from being a Hulu theater fighter, selling in excess of 5,000 tickets. Where Shakur Stevenson sold approximately 10,000 in Newark, New Jersey. Keyshawn Davis sold approximately 10,000 in Norfolk, Virginia. Teofimo never really graduated from being a Hulu theater fighter. Tack on the racist stuff. The bigoted innuendo that we've been seeing from Teofimo the last year and a half, 2 years. And then tack on that he's burning bridges wherever he goes. He had issues with Top Rank, he had issues with Matchroom, now he has issues with Turkey, to where you wonder, where the hell is his career headed? Where is he going? What is he going to end up doing in what remains of this year, if he does anything at all, when he says that he's open to fighting Shakur or he's open to fighting Subriel Matias? Who's supposed to pay for it? Because somebody has to. Stylistically, the better fight for Teofimo is the Matias fight. But Matias is not exactly free right now. He's got a mandatory challenger in the queue in Dalton Smith, and rumor has it that the former champion Alberto Puello is pressing for a rematch. So even if stylistically Subriel is the better fight for Teofimo, and he's right there, he's a champion at the same weight as Teofimo, he may not be free. Shakur Stevenson might be, because he just took care of his mandatory challenger in William Zepeda, and he ain't got nothing else to do. He said he's willing to move up for that fight, but stylistically, that is not a good fight for Teofimo. If you thought that Jermaine Ortiz and Sandor Martin made Teofimo Lopez look bad, put him in there with Shakur Stevenson, and Shakur will make him look worse. Except Shakur will beat him where those fighters didn't. Some people think that Shakur didn't look too hot in the Zepeda fight because Zepeda was pressing forward, throwing punches and bunches, and keeping him on the ropes. Some people think that, but remember, Teofimo doesn't have a work rate like William Zepeda. He doesn't throw anywhere near as many punches as that guy. He's a counter puncher. He'd spend that whole fight struggling to get within striking distance of Shakur Stevenson, who's a bit taller and a bit longer and isn't going to give him many, if any, countering opportunities. So just getting close enough to Shakur to land something will be a battle in it of itself. Shakur outpoints him. The Matias fight might be better, because stylistically, Matias isn't going to hang back. He's not going to make you chase him. He's going to chase you. And characteristically, those are the kind of guys that a counterpuncher looks best against. But there is a caveat. You notice the size discrepancy between Subriel and Teofimo. Subriel makes Teofimo look quite small. And Subriel Matias, along with one of the best engines at 140 pounds, he's got a great chin. He can take a punch, so you wonder, Can Teofimo Lopez actually get this guy's respect with a single shot? Because he's not that prolific in a round, Teofimo. He doesn't throw that many punches. What Subriel Matias works to do within a round is draw you out. Draw you into a war so he can wear you down. How would a very moderately sized Teofimo Lopez, who's kind of economic within a round, deal with the size, the aggression, and the volume of a Subriel Matias?
Next, man, Hitchins. Hitchins wants smoke with everybody.
No got hydration, man. No excuse. So I'm here.
No excuses.
No excuses.
The green belt is the belt that
This
everybody...
message is for Hitchins.
Let Hitchins know what you want to say, brother.
Hitchins, now I'm WBC champion. You no got nothing for excuse about the rehydration. This not in the unification, they no got hydration, so call me, man, please.
I made that observation myself ahead of Subriel Matias' fight with Alberto Puello that since he's not fighting in IBF eliminators anymore, and since he's not IBF champion anymore, he's not subject to any rehydration clause, even if Richardson Hitchins is.
Do you remember when he was IBF champion and Richardson Hitchins used that as an excuse for them not to fight?
I remember it like it was yesterday. Richardson Hitchins said that he wouldn't want to fight Subriel Matias if he were less than 100% due to that rehydration clause, which didn't seem to be an issue when Liam Paro got the belt, when Liam Paro became champion, and it wasn't an issue after that when he had to defend the title against George Kambosos. It was only an issue as it pertained to Subriel, not an issue now, since the IBF waives that cap for unification matches. In any fight involving 2 or more alphabet titles, the IBF waives that rehydration cap. So Richardson Hitchins wouldn't have that to use as an excuse not to fight Subriel. But Richardson Hitchins seems more concerned with a Teofimo Lopez fight. That's who he's been calling for. For obvious reasons, because he views the Lopez fight as a more winnable fight. He knows he has a height advantage over Teofimo, a length advantage. He knows that stylistically, he presents a style to Teofimo that's pesky and frustrating. I'm sure Richardson Hitchins would prefer to fight Teofimo, except who's supposed to pay for it? Remember, Turkey doesn't want to do any business with Teofimo. When the guys at the Boxing Voice asked him if he would be involved in a Lopez versus Hitchins fight, he said no. Though he might get involved in a Hitchins versus Matias fight, he doesn't have any problems with Richardson Hitchins that I know of, and he just used Subriel Matias for his other show. That's a fight that could happen if Hitchins wants it to happen. What about Dalton Smith? What about Subriel's mandatory challenger? Oh, come on. I'm sure they could convince Dalton Smith to stand down to allow this unification match to happen if Richardson Hitchins wants it to happen. We know Subriel does. We know that he's wanted a piece of Richardson Hitchins for at least a year now. Matias versus Hitchins is basically Matias versus Puello all over again, except we don't actually know if Hitchins is as durable as Puello. Things could get very bad very fast for Richardson Hitchins in a situation like that if he's not. I don't see him jumping up at the opportunity to box Subriel Matias in a unification match. I think he'll keep taking to his social media to call out Teofimo Lopez, who we don't even know if he's gonna fight again this year. I think Richardson Hitchins is about to give Subriel the cold shoulder.